Alright guys, so I will now be talking more about abortion on my channel here. Family is the number one priority, right? And sometimes you don't know that until you have a family. So, what am I doing with different abortion stuff? So, I will be looking at each state. I will be looking at what they do, where the political climate is in each state, talking about that, what kind of things we need to do in the abortion movement, the pro-life movement, to make sure families are number one. And I say that with not just the abortion movement, but growing healthy families, having aging parents that you love. My parents I absolutely love. Did they make a bad decision with murder? Definitely. It's against the law. Not abortion, but murder, which abortion is murder. That law does not make sense. Do I love my parents for everything they gave me? Yes. But at the same time, they took away a child that was mine. I did not know better. I did not understand what abortion was. And they took that right from me. They took a child from me. There should have been support. There should have been enough support that I was able to be that teen mom that I was. As far as Randy Vian's parents, I heard his dad had died. The last time I saw them, it was in Walmart. I had walked by them in Concord, New Hampshire, and his mother had moved in a way that his dad could not see me. So there's been no responsibility from them, no accountability taken. This is supposedly a Christian woman, his mother. So I don't know if she became a Christian after the abortion or what. But that was something that she had obviously taken no responsibility for, nor did he. So, ladies, we want to teach moms, we want to teach girls at a young age that dating is not just casual, it's serious. And as I move into the future with the pro-life movement, what does this have? What's it going to look like? I really believe in building families, building from scratch, as I did, building families, working at relationships. Relationships are number one. What you believe in relationships is really going to matter with how you build your family. Do you believe marriage is for life? Yes. When I first got married, I had no clue what marriage was about. Becoming a Christian, yes, it's for life. I had like every aunt and uncle divorce, including a grandmother who was in prostitution, a grandmother that I absolutely loved, but she had 10 kids in the projects and she went out with the men. This is not the way to build a family. My mom and my dad stayed together, as far as I know. They stayed together. That was a better example, but still, there was a lot of domestic abuse there, a lot of stuff that was not right. There was a lot that shouldn't have happened. So I had to turn everything around and say, how am I going to build my family? And I built my family, and I built strong, and I built hard. And then my husband chose to leave, and that was up to him, right? He chose to do that. But my legacy is still as a wife and mother for years now. And it talks about honoring your parents in the Bible. How do we do that? When you try to talk to your mother, she's like, oh, you were too young, so it's okay to kill your kid because you were too young. That does not make any sense, right? So we give forgiveness to people. We know that God meant it for good, even though it was meant for evil. They did know what it was like to be parents. They knew. You do not compromise the truth. They knew exactly what they were doing. They wanted to hide the truth, hide my pregnancy, and you don't compromise the truth. I mean, they wanted to hide. A lot of parents are doing that nowadays with their daughters. They don't want their daughters to have a life of drudgery, I guess, with having kids. Having kids is normal. It's a part of life. Women should desire this. There's no excuse for what they did, but there is forgiveness. There's forgiveness, and that's how you love those who have hurt you. You have to forgive and know that they know not what they do. So I had a grandmother who did what she wanted. Did she choose it? Yeah. But in the same way, she did not know what she did not know, in a way. Um, but she did, that was her coping skill, being with men. I have talked to women around me. There are a lot of women who have daddy issues. They feel like they need a man around them. They need a masculine, hug. They need men around them. A lot of women use men. They go right through men. They use them to get their needs met, and they don't really love them. So we want to teach girls to love their husbands, to love that one man, to love him for life, to care about him. And then we want to teach them how to have kids, how to work hard, how to, overcome obstacles. So when you love your parents, you give them some grace. Yes, what that murder was that I had to see. I had to see, on my left, my own flesh and blood be murdered, be totally murdered right in front of me. That is hard to deal with, guys. And usually we don't deal with it, ladies. We just don't. We're like, we don't even understand it all, okay? So, you just go through it, you live life the best you can, and then one day you're like, oh my goodness, that was my child that was murdered and chopped up in front of me in a canister, like almost like a blender. How can that be? How can that happen, right? So we are living in a day of spiritual blindness that's bigger than ever. We want to help women understand what abortion is. This is why Live Action does such a great job. And when you have the most intimate relationship you're supposed to have on earth, first with your parents and then your husband, and that's all been, taken away, you have to try in a way to restore that, at least on your half. Offering forgiveness to your parents. My dad did say at one point he was sorry. He was not the best dad. I was like, I have no idea what he's talking about. It's all you know until you get older and you start seeing the truth, right? So you give them forgiveness for what they chose, not just with you, but it running in the family, and you give them grace, and you give them the same kind of grace that God has given you. God has forgiven me for a million things, and that's the kind of system that you want, guys. Okay, thanks for joining me.